I brought up in my editor weekly that I was thinking about doing tip to tip in China. This is not a confirmation that it's going to happen in China. I just brought up that I was going to do it in China. Now, here's the issue. When I brought that up, I was pretty quickly met with, do you know how big China is? Do you know how big it is? Do you know how hard it's going to be to travel? And guess who's fucking saying this shit? Kelby and fucking Aiden. Do you know how hard it's going to be to travel from the east side to the west side of China? How long do you expect this to take? Oh, 20 days? Yeah, maybe if you're trying to go from Shanghai to Beijing, you'd be lucky to get that done in 2 months. They're talking to me like it is impossible to travel across China with no phone, no map, no translation service on 2 motorcycles in the course of the time I want to do it, which is about 3 weeks. And it got me to thinking, because after looking up it a little bit, they might be right. This is it. So this is the southernmost point of China. It's right here. It's Hainan. It's an island just south of mainland China. I think there's a bridge that gets you there. It's here. Boom. And the most northern point in all of China is up here just bordering Russia. From here all the way down here, on the most efficient route you could do is about 5,000 kilometers. If we have the same efficiency that we had in Japan, it would basically be double the length than the tip-to-tip Japan trip was. It would be double the distance. What is that in freedom units? It's like, it's a 5K, bro. Just do the math. It'd be like 3,100 miles. You ever run a 5K? 3.1 miles? Whatever. 3,100 miles. In freedom units, if we're literally crushing it, which would probably take, unless we do an amazing ferry skip from, Shanghai to Dalian, a month, which is a little bit longer than I am down to do. You cannot speak Chinese also? No, I can speak Chinese. In fact, that's probably the least of my concerns is the speaking of, actually they don't speak Chinese, they speak Mandarin. I don't know if you know that. That part I feel good about. The issue isn't that, it's literally just the distance. You do the math there, that we're gonna have to cover quite a lot of ground. And there's other good points brought up, like in tip to tip, 1, we covered the most ground on bike our final days of the trip, which often led to the worst episodes of the trip as well. The best episodes are usually not the ones where you're driving for 500 kilometers. It's when you're talking to somebody and experiencing a new area or something. So then I thought, okay, well, what if we do east to west? It turns out that might be even worse. There is a fun video from Real Life Lore, but this area of China is pretty, how you say, empty. There ain't shit there. It's a big old fucking desert. It's desolate. And the same exact thing also goes for here, the far rightmost point. So if we were to go from here to here, first off, it's a little less than 5,000 kilometers. So it's a little bit shorter. It's a little shorter. It's still long. It would be probably easier to navigate because there'd be less roads, but it'd be about as boring as you can get it in terms of, I think, human interaction. Now, maybe you could say, what if we went like coast to coast or something? Like maybe you could go from here to here and you just go along the coast the whole time. That could work possibly. Or another idea crossed my mind. What if we cut out the need of going from the northmost or the southmost or the eastmost or the westmost point? What if we go from the tip of the Great Wall to the tip of the Great Wall?
How big is the Great Wall of China really? Most people believe it's a single massive wall that cuts straight through the center of China, but in reality, it's a series of walls of different heights and lengths, built throughout the history of China. Millions of soldiers, farmers, and prisoners were forced to work in brutal conditions, and many were buried right beneath the wall itself. Today, the Great Wall of China stretches more than 21,000 kilometers.
And thanks to their sacrifice, 2 YouTubers can make content. Oh, fuck, shit. Fuck. Okay, what is the point? All right. Well, that was the idea. We would go from here, the leftmost part of the wall, to here or here. I think it's probably this one is the rightmost point of the wall. In fact, what's kind of cool is the rightmost point of the wall actually has a view of North Korea. could be hype. So anyway, we would basically start at the wall. We wouldn't drive along the wall. We wouldn't drive over the wall, obviously. It would just be that our start point is the wall, our end point is the wall. We'll probably run into the wall along the route, but we go wall to wall. We go wall to wall. That's the idea. And I think the length is the exact same as Japan. It's basically 2,500 kilometers to go from the eastmost wall to the westmost wall. So I think it'd be feasible to do in 2 weeks. We would hit a few major cities along the way. I think it could be hype. Why don't you drive through the wall like the fucking Kool-Aid man? Could be the play. Can you get to the easternmost part of the wall? Easternmost part of the Great Wall of China is called the Shanghai Pass or Old Dragon's Head. I think so. You can get to the easternmost point, it sounds like. And this is where we would end right here. That's kind of a fire end spot, I won't lie. That's kind of swag. Is any of this restricted territory? I don't know. I've done as much search as like 4 Googles. I deadass have no clue. I think it will be pretty easy to do. That's where I'm at. I think it's not even going to be a fucking problem. I think it's going to be easy as shit. Do you know a lick of Chinese besides 谢谢?你好吗?表,冰淇淋. What's up, Beijing? That's all I got. That's really all I got so far. But I'll get there. I'll get there. Give me a little time. I have a knack for language. I can give you a Chinese lesson if you need. Are you not listening to me? You're not listening to me because I'm speaking it right now. Why do westernmost point of Europe to easternmost point of Europe? I think that'd be too long. First off, you're talking like Portugal to like, what's the easternmost point of Europe? Is that in Turkey? Is that Ukraine? I also don't think you want to be in the easternmost point of Ukraine right now. Unless you happen to teach Japanese and have a thing for Slavic bitches, it might not be the play. Brazil would be fun. I think Brazil could be fun. I'm not married to China yet. Tip to tip Nicaragua. That would be so short. China travel restrictions. What's the big deal? Are there even any restrictions? I feel like people go to China all the time. I feel like you guys are being a little dramatic about it. I just rock up. I rock up. I go, what's up? You just rock up? Yeah, I'm going to pull up to China. I'm going to be like, what up? And they'll be like, yo, my God, we're so happy to have you. Can you even rent a motorcycle as a foreigner? Dude, I don't know why you guys, you love to do this thing where you freak out about logistical problems that like aren't your problem. Who gives a shit? We'll just figure it out. Do you think I knew any of this with Japan? Do it then? Bitch, I will. And I did already. I've done this. Thoughts about going around Iceland? Might be a little too easy, no? China ain't Japan. I won't lie. Japan was fucking way harder than I think China will be in terms of getting the motorcycle. There's no shot. Here's the thing. I'm so fucking pumped to do this so that I can just tell you. Because I'll just be the one who knows and you'll be the one on your ass watching it from home. You won't know. I will know. You will be the fucking Redditor at your armchair. Yeah. Good luck with that. Perhaps you've heard of the CCP. So if you're not on a list already, which you likely are being an influencer, there's almost no chance you get a motorcycle. And double good luck if you said anything about their political policy. That's what you sound like to me. That's what you sound like to me right now.
If you draw a diagonal line across the country from the frozen town of Heihe in the northeast, across to tropical Tengchong in the southwest, you will find that an overwhelming 94% of China's 1.4 billion people live to the east of this line.
That is, hold up. Analyzing, doing math. So only 160 million people live here. My math was wrong.
China's eastern half is therefore home to more than 1.3 billion people with a population density that's similar to Massachusetts throughout, while the western half is only home to 84 million people with a population density that's more similar to Kansas throughout. The difference between these two halves of China is even more abundantly apparent from space, where you can see the bright, glittering lights of civilization across the east, opposed by near
Is this the Silk Road? Like this trail of lights here? I'm not asking if the Silk Road is fucking lit up with lanterns, you dolts. I'm saying, are the towns that are in this area that are giving off lights on this map dotted along where the area that the Silk Road used to be like was? You know what I'm saying? Like is the Silk Road responsible for the civilization following this route? Because it's across a line here. Not remotely related. Not remotely remotely. Not remotely. There's not even one line that crosses over. Really? Philippines, it's paradise. Half of Michael is also Filipino. Ain't it not chill to go to the south of Philippines right now? I think Michael told me that. I heard it was not chill to be in the south of Philippines.
Nearly a century ago, back in 1935, a man named Hu Huanyang drew this map with this line across China.
Dude, if Hu Huanyang was around for YouTube, he would have been generational. He deadass just made a godlike thumbnail. That's a bummer. Born too early.
Published in the Chinese Journal of Geography, China's population imbalance between east and west has remained pretty much constant throughout. And it's been constant for thousands of years even before then. And nobody has ever been able to solve it. So why has this demographic problem existed?
How would you solve that? How would you solve that? How would you solve that? Trains? Why do you need to solve it? Because it's just a waste of land, no? You're just not really taking advantage. People want ocean? Throw a fucking lake in the middle. Throw a Disney World in there. Add one F1 race a year. Call it a day. That could be the move. Fuck you mean throw a lake in there? If you're motivated, you throw a lake in there. Yeah, maybe some casinos. If an American were to try to fix it, they'd turn this whole bitch into a parking lot. And this is where you park your car to go here. That'd be beautiful, really. It'd be an awesome sight.
For a very tiny corridor here along the Yangtze River that leads into the Sichuan Basin. A huge, hidden, flat field that's completely surrounded by mountains on all sides and separated by them from the rest of China's flat, plain land.
I gotta look up the Sichuan Basin because it sounds kind of magical. Who is bro? That's LaShawn. Shout out LaShawn.
The simple reality is that the plains and flat lands to the east of the line are some of the greatest and richest agricultural land that's found anywhere on the planet, while the land to the west of the line is literally the most inhospitable and hostile environment found anywhere on the planet outside of Antarctica or Greenland. In some places, this
I got like a PUBG filter over the left side.
Air with clouds full of rain bring wet monsoons from the Indian Ocean that dump enormous amounts of water across India, Bangladesh, and Myanmar.
Dude, so India and Bangladesh and Myanmar are eating good. They have beautiful, hospitable places to live. And then the Himalayas just take them all up. They have too much rain. Sounds like a trade is in order. Give one Himalayas to India.
Thus, rainfall rarely ever gets through, and it makes the areas beyond some of the driest found anywhere on the planet, which makes traditional agriculture across the plateau and the deserts impossible. And if it wasn't for the lack of rainfall making civilization impossible, it would be the temperatures. The long-range shadow cast by the Himalayas is what created both the Taklamakan and Gobi deserts. But their locations so close to Siberia leads to wild temperature variations. Harsh, cold winds blowing in from the Arctic can send temperatures in the deserts during wintertime plunging to as low as -40 Celsius. And during the summertime, they can skyrocket up to as high as 45 Celsius.
Okay, I don't want to drive through that. I don't want to drive through the Gobi Desert. I feel like it would be a mistake. You tank that? Maybe. I'm not down to find out though.
And to make matters even worse, the deserts are expanding. The sands of the deserts themselves are now taking their own turn at a rate of nearly 3,600 square kilometers every single year.
That's a lot.
The Tarim Basin is believed to have been the final place on the entire Asian continent that was settled by humans, potentially only as recently as about 1800 BCE, many centuries after the ancient Egyptians could—
Wait, 1800 BCE? That's fucking so long ago. What? That's so long ago. No, it ain't. That's 3,800 years ago. I mean, he's talking about it like it's a brand new apartment fucking complex that got put up. I know it's no Egypt, but 3,800 years, like they've been living there for a bit now. That's not bad.
If more than half of China's land is so worthless, why does China even control all of it in the first place?
True.
The answer is largely because the land isn't really so worthless as it may seem from only looking at one single kind of map.
Oil.
To start with, Tibet might only have a population of less than 4 million people, but it's not the people that's important here to China. It's the water and the location. But it's not just glaciers. Tibet is also referred to as the water water tower of Asia because many of the world's largest rivers begin across the plateau, including both the Yellow and Yangtze, Indus, Mekong, Brahmaputra, and Gagara rivers.
Damn, he put some stank on Brahmaputra. Brahmaputra. I like that. This voice is AI? Nah, I think he's just Canadian.
Chinese civilizations have sought to dominate these inhospitable lands for thousands of years now for two massively important reasons.
Massive.
The presence of nomads who liked to raid China's prosperous core in the east, and lucrative trade flowing to the west. There are only two historical weak points to this natural armor here and here. For thousands of years across numerous Chinese dynasties and even more numerous invaders, attempts were made to plug up this gap with fortifications and walls that over time eventually evolved into what we know today.
Dude, that looks crazy.
It really is a big ass wall. It is great. It is a great wall. I won't lie. They named it aptly.
The most basic third grade takes from our genius. Why can't you be 30 and appreciate that? Why do you have to be in third grade to look at that shit and be like, damn, humans made some crazy shit? Why are you feigning interest? Why are you spelling like you just discovered the word feigning? Back yourself up. You're not even close.
The other weak point in China's armor was much smaller and located across a tiny strip of land here, known as the He Corridor. This is an extremely narrow stretch of land through the western wastelands that's fairly easy to traverse across because it's relatively flat and dotted by oases throughout, which pretty much acted almost like ancient gas stations for travelers and invaders alike who were moving across it. Flanked by mountains to the north and south and surrounded by some of the world's most inhospitable environments, the corridor acts like a natural pass that leads for nearly 1,000 kilometers directly from China's rich core central plain straight to the Tarim Basin and Central Asia in the west.
Is that the Silk Road?
For millennia, steppe nomads from Central Asia could use the He Corridor almost like a funnel or a highway to rapidly transport themselves and their horse armies directly into the core open plain of central Chinese civilization,
Where's the
which
Silk
gave
Road?
Chinese states a difficult conundrum. Was it cheaper to bribe the nomads to halt their raids or to lead military campaigns into the west to stop them? During the Tang dynasty of the 7th century, they decided that military campaigns were cheaper, and through numerous invasions and conquests, expanded Tang Chinese dominion across the corridor and deep into the Tarim Basin, with the objectives of subduing and neutralizing the nomads, and of securing the vital Silk Road trade route, along with being a highway for invaders across both directions.
Oh, Silk Road. Whoa. Is this map right? Doesn't this map seem fucked up wrong? This definitely ain't how this shit looks on a map. It's an old ass map. Fair enough. Whoa. We joked about doing tip to tip Silk Road, but I'm looking at this and I'm seeing it goes to Kyushu. It goes to fucking Croatia. That's a bit long. It's where you get drugs. What were the main things they sold in the Silk Road? Wasn't it like fucking salt? I feel like it was the shit that Emerald Lagasse was selling. Oh, it's in the name. Oh. I guess I didn't think about that one.
Trade across the corridor made China rich, while bandit raids upon it from the surrounding wastelands interrupted that wealth. And so, in order to ensure that the trade continued to flow reliably and to halt the incursions of nomads, China steadily expanded her dominion across it and towards the west.
That'd be such a good life. Just living in the Himalayas, coming down to like one section of the Silk Road, fucking robbing the shit out of a nomad. You'd be so rich instantly. You'd be like who are those guys in episode 4? It's not the Bonson Raiders, is it?
Throughout the 80s and 90s, the China National Petroleum Corporation discovered 26 oil and gas-bearing structures across the basin that are estimated to contain approximately 16 billion tons of oil and gas reserves.
How are we still discovering oil? I know I'm asking dumb questions today, but I want to learn. Can't we just do one scan straight up, Earth big? Why don't we just scan it? We haven't looked everywhere. We're better at looking. Because eventually we're going to get good enough at looking that we can just do like a universe scan, right? Kind of like how they figured it out with Minecraft, but like it's the same seed every time. The seed's not switching. I feel like we got to be close to doing like a world scan. We're not even close. ASU really is top notch. Okay.
But there's another factor that the Who line divides China by: ethnicity. Overall, China is largely very ethnically homogenous, with more than 92% of the population being Han Chinese. However, nearly the entirety of the Han Chinese population lives to the east of the Who line, while the vast majority of the remaining 8% that make up China's various ethnic minorities live to the west of the line, largely in the wastelands, including the Tibetans in the southwest and the Uyghurs around the Tarim Basin in the northwest. Xi GDP per capita is 15% lower on average to the west of the line amongst China's ethnic minorities than it is to the more industrialized east among the ethnic Han. These are largely the reasons why all of China simply consists of a single gigantic time zone.
That shit is crazy. That shit is crazy. The one time zone strat is insane. It's not that crazy, IMO. Isn't it crazy? I mean, I guess you would just get used to it, right? Like what time you wake up. But like your boss is saying, come in at fucking 9 a.m. And it's like, boss, sun doesn't come up for like 3 hours. What do you want from me? It feels a bit crazy. It's bigger than the US, bro. What if the US was one time zone, ignoring Alaska?
For thousands of years, China has enacted its own version of westward expansion and manifest destiny across the central highlands and deserts of Asia. And now, in the modern age, millions of Han are moving from the east and settling the west across the Hu Line. In the name of economic development, China is aiming to finally develop its western half with the aid of modern technology. But there are extensive fears among the Tibetans.
Holy shit. Look at that guy's jaw. Oh my God. Holy shit. I didn't know the Tibetan monks were like that. Damn. They got mewing in Tibet. That's news to me. This guy too. But this guy deadass does look like Kronk. I'm not even like it's not even a stretch.
Fears among the Tibetans, the Uyghurs, and others that their ancient ways of life and even their very cultures are being bulldozed over in the same name of this development. In the end, how much of Western China's culture and diversity will be sacrificed in the age-old thousands years quest of finally developing the West? Nobody knows, and almost nobody has high hopes. Last year, around when COVID was just beginning, I decided to stop ordering takeout. I was the kind of person who
What a sick transition, bro. Just ominous music about like perhaps the complete evisceration of multiple cultures for the benefit of like the fucking dominant what's the fucking word? Why am I dumb today? I can't fucking use my words today. Ethnicity, thank you. Today I'm a little bit dumber, I think. And I wish you guys were being nicer about it. You asked what was sold on the Silk Road? Okay. Most sold items Silk Road. I want like a top 10. Top 10 contraband you can find.
More than 2,000 years ago, East and West connected across huge distances using a trade network.
Is this not just AI?
Modern historians have labeled the Silk Road. Early contact was made when China's Han Dynasty opened trade.
Oh no, maybe it's beautiful art. Is it AI or is this like good voiceover? I deadass can't tell. I can't tell. Honestly, like I think it might just be a really good job and I'm fucking calling it AI. I think they might have just done a great job. Notice how you said AI, then 99% of your chat exploded with slop? We are so cooked. Yeah, because we actually don't judge things on the value that they actually are. We judge them on the percent accuracy we think they are AI or not. And eventually AI is going to get so good that we can't distinguish. So we just start calling things AI when they're not AI. Or we think things aren't AI when they are AI. And our judgment of them no longer is based off the value. It's just based off whether we think it's AI or not. And we're not all good at distinguishing. And we're going to get worse at distinguishing too.
For 1,500 years, the Silk Road was the major global trade artery until eclipsed by sea routes pioneered by...
Like, I can't tell. I couldn't tell you. If someone was like, this is AI, I'd be like, yep. And if someone was like, this is a Pastro Valgant, it was the most famous painting of the 13th century, I'd be like, sure, 100%. Here's how you tell. You go to their channel, you go to oldest video, you click.
Around 3 p.m., the French launched their biggest assault yet on the Great Redoubt.
I think it's not AI. It's the same voice and it's 2 years old. Dude, isn't it crazy how fucking hard that is to do though? That's hard to do.